pulled off the road. We will have our crews pulled off the road.
Yeah, and that's a couple of things for people out there right now. We say it time and time again. Please, if you're out there right now, hunker down. If you're by a shelter, you can get to a shelter, get in the shelter. We're taking everybody in. We're making sure, Kurt Browning, superintendent, the schools have done a fantastic job with the shelters. It's unbelievable. And the county, I would say County Administrator Biles has been leading this charge and done a fantastic job, but this is a full effort, but we're warning because our citizens out there, we have to get off the streets, hunker down. We know that as this thing keeps skirting, people in Pinellas are looking to evacuate. If those bridges shut down and there's about 750,000 people, the only way they can push up to get out is to come through Pasco County. We do not want those roads clogged during the storm. That's why we're warning everybody. If you're out there, find a place to hunker down now. If you can get out safely, get to a shelter immediately. The other thing too is we have crews out there. We've talked to deputies, our read-offs this morning. We talked to people across the county administrator has. We know our men and women on the street, the boots on the ground, are going to have to make life and death decisions because our communications may go out. We don't know what's happening out there. So I can tell you this is going to be a very difficult situation for all the counties on the west coast of Florida. We're all in this together. I want to thank the governor's office, the people in Tallahassee. They're our lifeline. They are definitely going to be sending help when this thing breaks loose. But for everybody, even on the east side of the county, we're going to be seeing high winds. Do not take this lightly. Get inside, hunker down, make sure your loved ones will ride this out, and we're going to get through this together. Keep praying hard.
Can you talk about the Anclote River? I know that's a big concern, not
Sure.
only immediately, but even Wednesday,
Right.
when people might be trying to come back in.
Right. So the projections right now, and especially as the storm kind of moves off the coast a little bit, and if it just skirts us, that's actually probably the worst case scenario for the Anclote because we'll get the maximum storm surge, then we'll get the rain coming down the river, and it's right now the models are showing it peaking at about 26 and a half feet, which is above 54, which means we will probably be at the most have maybe one lane, and that's not just for a short period of time. That could be up to 3 or 4 days while the water subsides. So that's a major thing. The sheriff's deputies are going through the subdivisions in that area that we know routinely flood, and with their loudspeakers and warning people to get out because again, you run from water and you hide from wind. That's a water situation, and it's very dangerous. And so we're out there, again, with our partnership with the sheriff. They are out there driving through those subdivisions, trying to get people out and making sure there's nobody left.
How's it going at the shelters so far?
Like the sheriff said, the schools district's been great. The health department's been great. All their communities, all the volunteers, our employees, all the employees that have volunteered to go out there or that work out there have been great. We're getting really full. I think at the last time we had 6 or 7 that are closed. The Senator Mike Fasano's shelter is full of special needs, and we can't take any more there. We have some shelters that can take people, but they're really packed with pets right now. And so on our website, we are updating as live as we can the status of those shelters. We're getting that routinely from the school district about every hour or so. But I think at last count, we had 15,000, 16,000 people in the shelters, and we expect more over the next 6 hours. Our transportation services and fire rescue are still taking calls to move people that can't get there on their own, out of their house to the shelter. And so we're still, and again, until those tropical storm winds show up early this afternoon, we are going to be moving people around between our office, fire rescue, transportation, the sheriff office. We even have private ambulance companies that have come in from out the nation that have come in here to help us with that and move people around.
Are you still looking for volunteers at this point? I know you were looking for ham radio operators, for volunteers at the shelters, or is it too late to mobilize at this
So
point?
we still have time. We do need ham radio operators because that's a backup to the backup communication system for us. We are still taking volunteers at all our shelters. That's going to be a continual need until people can get back in their houses. And that depending on, again, where that storm tracks, could be quickly if it moves further off coast, or could be several days. And so we're going to need help.
And that's the one thing, this is the situation. Everybody knows the anxiety levels for the past week have just been tremendous. Every citizen, everybody has been out there. The media's done a fantastic job warning people. And the stress level, as I go back to it, people are just so stressed out. And this has been the buildup. We're about to start it. It's about to start. It's about to get real. And we don't know what happens. I pray to God, I know we're all praying, that this makes a hard left and dissipates out in the Gulf and everything's fine. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. but every projection shows there's going to be a lot of flooding. There's going to be high winds. And so we all have to be prepared. So as this storm comes about, tomorrow is going to be a bad day. But as we've been telling our deputies, as fire rescue, everybody in this emergency operations center knows, as soon as this storm subsides, we are 100 miles per hour getting out there recovering people. And for those citizens, everybody knows West Pasco floods. East Pasco has a lot of flooding areas. They know this. This is not one of those chances where they say, I've written it out before, I'll write it out again. If you're near a shelter, and we keep going back to, hunker down or get in a shelter. If you're within minutes of a shelter, get there. Because the flooding levels, as projected, what it could be is horrendous. And that's what we want to warn people right now. Don't, you have kids' lives at risk. You have senior citizens' lives at risk. Don't let them die because you made a selfish decision that you didn't want to get up and go.
Sheriff, along those lines, it was telling during that briefing in there that we watched a little bit that room is full of Pasco County residents. They've got homes, they've got families, and they are here doing this. I know you were wearing something on your wrist right now that your daughter gave to you.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, everybody here is worried about their families too. And
Yeah,
tell me about that wrist.
Honestly, everybody's wondering why I'm wearing a purple wrist. I got two of them on. The Nocco family, we had to make a decision just like any resident in this whole Tampa Bay region had to make a decision. And, as the storm went back and forth, we were making decisions, what are we going to do? My wife and I, we prayed about it, we were thinking about it. But yesterday, there was a clear sign. When that was coming up the coast, we had to make a decision. And, I kissed my family goodbye. It was very sad. And, it's hard on our kids. They don't understand, what's going to happen to their neighborhoods, what's going to happen to their homes, and, what's going on. And before my daughter took off, she gave me this, and she gave me a kiss, said, Daddy, I love you. And so, you never really see me tear up. This is the one time you're going to see it. But, it's pretty rough when you have to kiss your loved one goodbye, not knowing what they're going to come back to. But I say Daddy's with the best men and women possible in Pasco County. We're going to protect our citizens, and we're going to get through this because of God's love.
Yeah. And the county's ready, whether it's between the sheriff's office, the other constitutional, our office. We made a call earlier this week that we were going to go 100% man in our fire departments, which means that Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie shift are all in the fire stations ready to go, with two resting while one's on standby, so that when we roll out of this, fatigue isn't a factor. Somebody can roll off to a mission, come back, get a break, somebody else is ready to go. So we're doing that. I know the sheriff is set up like that too, so that we maintain, our employees and our men and women safe and not fatigued, but that we can also meet the needs of our friends and family and our neighbors that are out there in the county. So, we're ready for this. We have people in there that are worried about, their homes and their families, but, that's what we're here for. That's what we signed up to do.
So what happens in that downtime when you have to pull everybody off the roads just because it's not safe? What are you gonna be doing then?
So what we're doing right now is we're planning and setting in stage the motion of what we're going to do at minute 1 when we can go out, what we can do minute 60, hour 2, hour 8. We're working with the sheriff's office to put the teams together to clear the roads, to make sure we know who to contact for power and in what areas, because we have 4 different power companies in this county to fix and de-energize lines that are down so that we can make those roads safe, so that we can get to the rescues, so that we can get into the neighborhoods and subdivisions. So whether it's a sheriff office that needs to, protect those neighborhoods from, the things that routinely, unfortunately, happen after storm events while people are still evacuated, or we need to get in there from a human life safety perspective to rescue to an emergency medical call. So we are working that now. We're working the damage assessment plan so that we all roll together and we hit those things together, and so that, if we need to move a tree, the public works guy's right there, and we can get a tree out of the way, and so we can continue the mission. So they're working on that planning right now.
The other part of it with our members, they're going to hunker down with the fire department, but this is really, as I said, I hope tomorrow nothing happens and it's done and everybody says, oh, you warned us for nothing, here's the hype again. I get it, I hear it. I was standing in line for ice yesterday with people, and you heard people say, this is the hype again, here we go. And then they'll say, and then tomorrow comes, and, I hope they all say we were crazy, we blew this out of proportion. I hope to God everybody says that.
Right.
But if we have to be prepared for when it doesn't happen, and this is our preparation. We have to prepare people. And this is why, that term hero, we should not throw it lightly. There are going to be heroes out there, heroes in our own community, heroes that are going to step up, that are going to rescue people, help people out. They're heroes in uniform. You know, the sheriff's office, police departments, fire rescue. They're going to be stepping up. They're going to be putting themselves in harm's way. And the unsung heroes, utilities, you know, the electric companies, those men and women are out there too. So I go back to it. I hope to God tomorrow they're like, oh, Nocco, everybody, Biles, they were all full of it. You know, nothing happened. I hope to God that happens.
Right.
But we're preparing because as every projection's telling us, you know, we're about to be in a big fight.
Right. And as we've said in our EOC meetings the last few days as we get ready for this, our job is to prepare for the worst case scenario, build plans based on that, but hope for the best. You know, unfortunately, hope is not a strategy. And so we built plans for the worst. We're set up for the worst between the sheriff's office, our other constitutionals, the school district, you know, the hospitals. We've worked together to prepare for the worst. And we would all love that thing to just kind of keep turning and go out into the Gulf. And we come in Tuesday and, you know, we're right back to normal. But our job is to prepare for the worst. And so we're set up for that, and we're going to be ready to rock and roll when we need to.
Because I promise you, when we don't prepare for the worst, then they'll blame us for not preparing for the worst. Yeah.
So.
You guys talked a lot about, you know, possible, definitely electrical outages and things, and people have been stocking up on water. Is there more of a concern that that people are not gonna have access to that water, or the water that comes into their house might be contaminated?
So we have a pretty resilient water supply system here, and I've talked to our utilities, and you know they've assured me that between Tampa Water and the other well fields, we have a pretty resilient backup power situation on our water system that we should, key word there, should be able to provide reliable water through this. Now that said, you get the wrong damage in the wrong spot, it takes out a generator or a pump, you're going to have issues. And so we think we're set up really well. And I asked that question on Tuesday because that's number one concern coming out of this is clean water to drink and to use for other things. And they assured me that they have a pretty resilient system all the way from the well fields to the point of delivery in someone's home. That said, the wrong damage in the wrong spot takes out a pump, takes out a generator. We could have some isolated instances or some instances where we need to either do boil water notices or we just don't have it for a short period of time while we make those repairs.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right,
good
thank
job.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.